everybody, and welcome to the AFTAs, the show that takes a deep dive into AirTV's filmmaking history to teach you the do's and don'ts of student filmmaking. I'm your host, Iain Bayfield, and today for the series premiere, I'm joined by my esteemed guest, Calum Cownie. Calum, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good. I'm
good
excited for this pilot. I mean, we've been talking about it for a while, so it's good to actually be here.
Good to get it done.
Yeah.
So, Calum, as an accomplished filmmaker, award-winning director, and president of AirTV, you've got a few films under your belt. But today I brought you in to talk about your most recent film, the mystery thriller Not Seen, Not Heard. Mm-hmm. Now, for any of us at home who haven't seen the film before, could you give a quick logline about what the film's?
Yeah, sure. So basically, it's about Charlie, and Charlie's been obsessed with the blood knot butcherer, who's a mass serial murderer, and they film the victims, and they leave a calling card of a shoelace. However, as she delves deeper and unravels the mysteries, it goes a bit haywire. So you better check it out.
Yeah, pause the video, go watch that.
Go watch it right now.
And then come back again. So, first question, I wouldn't say that shoelaces are my first weapon of choice if I'm going to be murdering people. So where did the idea for the film come from?
Well, we did it a part of AirTV as the 40-hour film challenge. So we go as a group and we get given prompts. So obviously we get given a genre, a character, a prop, and a line of dialogue. So obviously we got given a shoelace, we got given Charlie, who's a reenactor. We got a line of dialogue, which was something like, pretend you didn't see that. And our genre was mystery/silent film. So we combined them together.
48 hours isn't very much time to do a whole short film, and that film came out to around 6 minutes?
Around about 6 minutes.
Yeah, it was,
and
I can imagine it was a hectic weekend.
That was a long fucking weekend. Can I swear?
Yeah, you can swear.
Fuck it. Okay. It was fuck me. So in the first day, we go to Glasgow. We get prompts. It's all high energy. Got ideas. Then we head back to Kieran's flat, our producer, and we spend writing from about maybe 9-10 p.m. to 3 a.m. trying to write and pitch ideas. There were so many of us. A bit hectic. It was kind of good to get ideas thrown around, but trying to get one was tricky. But once we got the idea and it started rolling, that 40 hours was so stressful, really long, but I think it was quite good to get kind of a rush, because you're doing things you like doing it, a bit stressful. So I'd do it again, but 40 hours, yeah. For 6 minutes, you don't think it's that's easy to do. It's really tricky.
It's an intense weekend.
It was.
Were there many ideas floated around before you landed on the serial killer idea?
There was a few floating around. All of them, because it was mystery, kind of went veered towards kind of a shoelace killer. There were some that floated around, some that even kind of transformed into other films, some that kind of but they all revolved around some sort of killer and a shoelace. Because, we thought it was quite fun to do kind of a murder mystery, and a shoelace as well. It's quite easy to do a calling card as a shoelace. So it was quite a few ideas before we stuck with this. The final one we decided.
As I said earlier on, 6 minutes, not a lot of time on screen, but a lot of time to actually get filmed. How was the production process?
Production process, it was weird, because after the day of writing, and we're like, okay, we're going to bed at 3 a.m. we have to go up for 10, and it was rough. We said we'll start filming at 10, we didn't. We started filming at 1. We never do. And the first day of filming went pretty good for the first 3 hours. We split up into different crews, we filmed different areas. I think I filmed where I directed the bit with the dead bodies. I think someone else went off to do bits with the police officer, and trying to get, because we had to film dead bodies, so we needed to put that in a projector and edit that, so it was had to do crews at the same time. We were high rolling, and then we hit a bit where we almost got locked out the flat with all our kit, and that was a bit, but we got back in. But after that, I think it was okay, so we didn't struggle too much after that. But production, very very just spontaneous. No, nothing was really planned, even though we wrote Spain. We didn't stick to it though. So
that's generally just how films go. It seems like you were, while over the course of the weekend, you were shooting 2 films. One film that was going to be in the film, and then the film itself.
Yeah, because I haven't seen it. There's a bit when they had to project these basically snuff films with the murderers film dead bodies. However, to do that, we need to film that. So I went around filming these dead bodies with Phoebe and other crew members, trying to get these dead bodies, and then had to edit that in the living room where someone else is doing it. They come back, put it on the wall. It was making a film for a film. It was weird, but I enjoyed it.
I mean, and they also look pretty good. The snuff sort of aesthetic of the whole thing. It's a good look.
It's the weirdest compliment I've got.
Yeah,
you're good at making snuff, so yeah.
What sort of brought you to land on that sort of aesthetic for the film and the film?
Well, we decided on, because one of our themes was silent film, so we thought the film should be in silent. So Super 8 are usually in silent as it is on their own. You can film it separately, but whatever. So we decided just Super 8, no audio. So I wanted to get that creepy aesthetic. You change the frame rate a bit, you add the filters on it, you make it jumpy, so it makes it scarier. because it's kind of unpredictable. It's kind of just like, it seems like someone's just picked up an old camera and filmed a dead body rather than just being like a production. So that's why we had a lot of like no tripods, just them on the grass, them on the ground. So there's nothing like too artificial. Makes it creepier, makes it more real.
Yeah. So with being it's such a vast undertaking of kind of shooting 2 films at the one time and having to use 2 crews, did you have a lot of challenges shooting in such a big crew?
Yeah, it was like, we always set out, there were so many people, like we need to have 2 crews, but deciding the day and getting the kit there was quite tricky. And obviously communicating between the crews was weird because you had to get the timings right, because we needed to film the dead bodies and edit it before the second unit or the first unit came back, because we needed to get as much film that day as possible. So trying to communicate between the groups, we had to buy props at Tesco. It was a bit tricky to organise that, but it was just spontaneous guerrilla filmmaking, so it's kind of just like, you do what you have to do and you have to do it as fast as possible, especially during 40 hours. But it was tricky, but I think it's manageable for anyone.
Especially considering the 48 hours is probably the theme of the episodes, 48 hours,
Yeah.
surprisingly enough.
Yeah.
The production design, I think, of the film is really stellar with, you know, obviously you have the film within the film using actual practical projector with others, the Super 8 projector that AirTV has,
Yeah.
as well as the montage board that you guys had in the back.
Oh,
of all the
exactly. Yeah,
shots.
we that was great to do. We had we had a very large crew,
Yeah.
as you can see in the credits, but we had fantastic people who were just like cutting out newspapers, building that wall. Everyone was doing something. There wasn't no one that was like just like sitting around at the time. Like everyone could help out, buy props, take photos of dead hands. Like half the crew were the dead hands you see in the background, and all these photos we did actually take that day. So it was a very quick turnaround for that. So we had a good production designers on our set. So
Yeah, definitely. And again, to keep on with the visuals of the film, it is beautifully shot. There's a lot of points we can pick out in the film. They're just like fucking really good colors. Did you do most of that in camera, or was that a little bit in post as well?
Majority of the colours that you see were shot on camera, especially during the kind of projection scenes where it's like a lot of blues or reds. That was done with just lighting and gels to get that kind of effect going. We did some colour correction near the end to try and fix some of the kind of like bit over blue or saturated and stuff like that. We fixed it, but majority of the colours you see were there on set on day using the camera.
Was there a piece of kit that you enjoyed using most? Because obviously we used the entire media locker for the 40-hour film challenge.
The one I enjoyed the most, and we only really used it once, was the slider. It's one of the kind of like underappreciated things we use at AirTV, because like not many people use it, but when we do, it just adds a little edge to it. I love, and it makes a shot of Charlie and Rosebud when they're looking through one of the snuff films, and it's just a sliding shot where it goes from Rosebud to Charlie, and I think it's really nice that them contemplating, them kind of looking around. I think it's a really nice shot that kind of separates the two together, but also, you know, I think it's quite nice.
Yeah, it very much is.
And it's fun to use, I like sliding.
I mean, coming to the crunch time of the film itself, I imagine there wasn't just one person working on the editing. Again, had a couple people doing different scenes at the one time.
Yeah.
How was that sort of to divvy out and then bring together in an assembly?
God, it was, like I said before, we had to edit the Super 8 the day, but also that day, Henry, who played our police officer, edited his scene that day. And then on the Sunday, one crew went out, came back, and we called like Henry back, we called William, we had Zoe, all editing separate scenes. And then they sent it to me, and I made like a master edit where I just added their edited scenes one after the other, and then smoothed up some of the transitions and added some color correction. But that editing process, divvying it out, was very just spontaneous. Like, you do that, you do that, you do that, go. Because we only had 6 hours to edit the whole thing, and for 6 minutes you think it's not long, but the amount of scenes and weird effects I had to do, and I didn't even add the music to the last 5 minutes of the deadline or any of the audio. So I did that very quickly, and that was a bit stressful. I was in like a zombie-like state, I've been told, where I didn't react to anybody, and I kind of just start editing, and they're like, "Want a Pepsi?" And I'm like, and I didn't drink it. I asked them to buy me something, I didn't drink it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like that's kind of how it goes when it comes to crunch time. You just sort of dying.
It's a flow state, you know.
Yeah. I thought it was very interesting that you went through the film with the Super 8 sort of scene transitions between each section of the real life thing, but that sort of ties into the end of the movie whenever it actually becomes the snuff film itself. Was that something that was sort of a predetermined thing, or did you decide to do that while you were in the cutting room floor?
I did the cutting room floor. It was all just like, we knew what we wanted to do, and I was like, I want to add a little spin to help connect the transitions. Add a little, because it was Super 8, and the kind of like idea of kind of just sort of silent film Super 8 was for the thing I wanted the whole film. So each transition kind of has like a kind of a bleeding effect, a little light flash, cutting between the real snuff films, and even a frame of the final kill throughout the whole film. So if you get a keen eye, you might be seeing the final kill.
You spoiled the film the whole time, and none of us noticed.
Yeah, none of us noticed.
Wild.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I want to talk about the last scene. I know it was quite a lot. It was quite a big day. Obviously, trying to get it all shot and edited. But I think it's the last shot is a very powerful sort of moment because it obviously has the big snap from the audience to be like, oh shit, that's the serial killer this whole time.
Yeah.
Like, it's an iconic shot, I gotta say.
Yeah, it's weird. It's fun to be like, I mean, everyone likes a good murder mystery, I feel, and people like to guess who done it. So it's quite good at the reveal to be like, this is the killer, and I did it in a really nice way. It's not just like, I'm the killer. It's more just thinking like, oh, is she gonna kill him? Did she actually kill him? But but I think it's a really nice moment and a really good shot that I didn't originally plan to have that silhouette, but it just happened that the sun was there that day because we were going to film somewhere else, but it was busy, so we had to film somewhere else that day. So it's all spontaneous, and to get that shot, like, it wouldn't be the same if like someone wasn't at the other dock we tried to go to. So yeah, it's lucky.
Yeah. Do you think it was easy working with the actors for that scene? Obviously, they didn't have a lot of time to get to grips with the character. They had less than 24
The actors
hours, really.
were amazingly helpful and so patient during the whole process because it's very much spontaneous. They got the script like seconds before they started acting, and it was a lot of just like, can you try this? They're incredibly patient, so huge props to the whole cast that we had there. And they did amazing though, because they were very good at kind of saying like, can you try this? And they did it, and they kind of also tried stuff that I didn't know what I was planning. So it's quite good to have that interaction of kind of spontaneity. It's not just like, we're doing this my way. We're just like, no, do it your own way. If it looks cool, awesome, and vice versa. So it was just like, it was quite tricky, but I think it was quite good.
There you go. Yes, is there anything else you want to talk about the film that you feel we haven't covered today?
I want to talk about how many people were involved, and I think as a project, I'm just me representing the whole crew, but we had like 30 people there. We had a lot of people there.
For a student film, that's
I know.
a big crew.
In like future things, we might split it up because I felt like there were some moments when some people had less to do than others. But I feel like the amount of work people put in, like just transport, just holding kit, buying shit, like the amount of stuff times like, can you run out and get this? Can you carry this? Can you run back to get batteries? Can you do this and that? So I feel like the credit, because even though the credit shows that like 30 people as runners, but it's true, everyone was fucking doing everything. So I think credit to everyone is due. There were so many people involved. It's not just me who did this. Like, it's a huge kind of production. So I feel like credit to all them as well. So
perfect. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's been the first episode of the AFTAs. If you enjoyed, leave a like, comment, and subscribe to the AirTV channel. And we hope to see you again at the next episode.
Woo!